everybody. 2% happy. Getting ready to start the peak performance. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I've got a little Christmas music to play for you as well. While we're waiting for everyone to get on, it's good to see some of my old friends. And today we're going to talk about, well, here's what I do to breathe life into cold leads. And we all have cold leads in our sales pipeline, right? So to get in with the holiday spirit, I thought I'd play you some Christmas music. All right, let's get down to it. Here we go. So really, today's topic is about something that every salesperson faces at some point, and that's how to turn cold leads into hot sales. And so you don't need to take notes. I've created a companion piece for this, and I had put in the comments, let me show you, that if you send me an email to my email address, christineharrington.com, and put hot sales in the subject, I will send you the PDF file. There's no way I can upload it to this live stream to give it to you. So to me, that was the easiest way to help you get that PDF file. All right. Because we're really going to go over quite a bit tonight. So, hey, if you want to take notes, go for it. So what I want to do is help you look into your pipeline and identify those leads that have turned cold on you. I challenged a client a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, to do this. And he didn't think he had that many dead horses, what I call dead horses, in his pipeline. Come to find out, he had like 500 and some leads, and over 300 of those leads had gone cold. I mean, he was even shocked by how many leads that he had that were considered dead horses. So I gave him a few strategies on what to do, and I'm going to share those strategies with you tonight in this podcast. But before we go any further, let's first define, what is a cold lead? All right. Now, I'm not talking about a new lead that you're going to cold call. I'm talking about a lead that maybe you have cold called. Maybe you have sent emails to them and it's been crickets. Nothing you have done has worked. Maybe it was you had one conversation with them and you could never get them back on the phone and you found yourself just chasing them. Or maybe it's someone that just didn't really express interest one way or the other. That's kind of how I'm defining cold leads. And so what we want to do, the key in all of this is shifting them from unaware to engaged. And this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Let me say this too. In the podcast, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll address them after we're through here, or even during the podcast, I'll address them. Excuse me. Okay. I always have to drink water. So the one thing I want you to remember is timing is everything. And trying to breathe life into cold leads. It could have been the timing was wrong, when you first contacted them, which is why I don't when I deal with a cold lead, or let's say someone that hasn't responded to me, and I try a follow-up cadence with a phone call followed by an email. So I'll do that every other day for 2 weeks, a phone call followed up by an email. The third week, I'll switch to once a week, a phone call, then an email. And then I will do that same scenario for another 3 to 4 weeks. And if they don't respond to me, then I put them out to recontact them in 6 months or sometimes maybe a year. You know your product, you know your prospect, and you know your sales cycle. So it could be shorter for you or could be longer for you. You have to determine that. But the ones that you definitely want to get out of your pipeline are the dead leads where you noticed the company isn't growing, or maybe the company or the business has closed some locations. Those are not leads you're going to want to go after. So make sure that those are definitely dead leads, because it sounds like the business is dying, right? The company is dying. So I wouldn't pursue those. So the first thing that you're going to do is take those leads, identify who they are, determine whether they're worth contacting again based on the notes that you've kept, hopefully in your CRM, and then do some research. Go out on LinkedIn and see, has anything changed for this company or business? Go to their website. Are they adding new people to their business? Which are all good signs, right? Look at industry news. Is there any kind of industry news that someone was promoted, or maybe they're developing a new product line? So what you're going to do is look for trigger events. All right. Because when you're looking for trigger events, these are good ideas and these are good opportunities to do a personalized reach out. And that's tip number 2. So let's say that you notice that one of your clients is adding locations. This is a great time for you to do a personalized outreach to that particular client or prospect. Avoid generic pitches. Matter of fact, don't even do a pitch. What I want you to do is craft personalized messages that address their specific needs or challenges. Okay? So you might say something like, "Hi, Sarah, this is an email," or this could be a phone call. "Hi, Sarah, this is Christine with the Savvy Sales Lady coaching firm. I noticed your company recently expanded into whatever market that is. If you recall, I reached out last year because I help businesses like yours streamline and then a specific process. I'll give you a call on Friday at 2 p.m. Hopefully, you'll be available to take my call." All right. If you're sending an email, you're just going to say, "Hi, Sarah, I noticed your company recently expanded into whatever that market is. If you recall, I reached out last year because I help businesses like yours streamline and then a specific process. I'll give you a call on Friday at 2 p.m. Hopefully, you'll be available to take my call." Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I never end an email with something like, "Let me know if I can help you." Never say that. Always say when you'll give them a call, a date and time. Hopefully, they'll be available to take your call. You're the one that should be following up. The prospect will not read your email and pick up the phone and call you right away. That will never happen. And you're just frustrating yourself if you think it will. It's your job to follow up with the prospect. I know I have said this a million times. You're probably sick and tired of hearing me say it. But what I always recommend that you do is you make the phone call, and if you get the voicemail, have this voicemail ready, and then have the email ready so that the minute you hang up, you send the same message into an email. "Hi, Sarah. I just left you a voicemail message. For your convenience, I thought I'd put it in an email to you. I noticed your company recently expanded into blank market." And I read, and then the rest of what I told you earlier. So again, I will put this in a PDF form if you want to email me. And let me put that up again. Here it is, everyone. Christine at christineharrington.com. Put hot sales in the subject line. All right, let's go to tip number 3. So use a multi-channel approach. So I have a tickle in my throat tonight. I don't know why. So connect with them through email, through phone calls, LinkedIn messages, and even direct mail. That's right, snail mail. I cannot tell you all how many times over the past 10 years I have gotten more responses from sending a handwritten letter than I have sending an email, because it's so unusual these days that it just stands out. So do not just disregard sending handwritten notes or letters, really. And be consistent, but not pushy. So let's talk about being consistent. One of the things that I told my client about, how to breathe life into cold leads is, so often what we do is we pursue a client or a prospect or a lead. We may have talked to him once, or we may never have talked to him at all. And after 2 or 3 tries, all we do, we just drop it then. We don't call them, we don't email them. We make this assumption that they're not interested, even though they've never told you they're not interested. Like I said in the beginning, timing is everything. So you've got to learn how to be consistent in your follow-up. I can't tell you how important that is. And I don't have the research company right off the top of my head, but the average salesperson only follows up one time. And I get, in some markets, people have a ton of prospects to contact, and they never get back around to that one that never responded. They're just contacting people, and seeing who picks up and who responds. That's what I call throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. That is not the way I would ever do cold calling or cold marketing. I would never send out 1,000 emails. I would prefer to be steady, consistent, and have just a core number of 200 to 300 prospects to target. Even when I did group benefits, we had something like 5,000 agents in the state we were supposed to work with. I didn't. I carved out just a small group of agents that I consecrated concentrated on to develop a relationship and to provide excellent service with them. And I really, really think, and what I mean by excellent service is you're answering their emails and their questions when they come up. So many times I've had sales reps say to me, well, if I answer too soon, doesn't that mean that they perceive me as not being busy? No, they perceive you as being a professional. I got a really nice compliment on LinkedIn today. And if you're not following me on LinkedIn, I want to suggest that you do. I do a lot of content on LinkedIn. Matter of fact, this live stream is going out to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. But this comment I got was from a man named Paul, and he said that I'm one of the most accessible people that he's run across on LinkedIn. And I really appreciated that comment because I try to answer people's questions in a timely way, in a timely fashion. So connect with me on LinkedIn. All right. So being consistent doesn't mean being pushy. It just means being professional. You can be consistent and professional totally without being pushy. All right, let's go into tip number 4. Add value first. So this is another one that, in my opinion, it's kind of an overused word, value. What does it mean to add value? From people that I've heard from, businesses I've heard from, they think adding value is getting a response within a couple of hours, not in a couple of days. They think that a sales rep that can answer their question in a couple of hours provides a lot more value than someone that, doesn't get back to them for 2 or 3 days. Other types of value you can offer is, if you see something that's trending and you go, oh, wow, I wonder if this would be good information to give ABC prospect. I do that in my own business. I'll run across an article and it'll resonate with me, one particular prospect or a former client, and I will send that to them. It's amazing how many of my former clients still stay in contact with me. They text me and tell me how they're doing, although they'll call me and just, tell me what's happening. And I love that. I love the fact that I made a difference in their lives and they're sharing that with me. So offer free resource. You can offer them an ebook. Here's something that I did. I sent a group of potential prospects a Audible ebook. Well, it wasn't an ebook, an Audible of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. I sent them the Audible version, the audio book is what I'm trying to say, of James Clear's Atomic Habits. And I did that at Christmas time a few years ago. So these are some of the things you can do, especially if it's a client that you think that this may help with, or one of these cold leads that that if you could just get in there, that you could help this cold lead. Do something like that. So many times, I don't know about in your world, but in my world, in the insurance world, we had wasn't a big budget, but we had a budget where we could send people small gifts, right, at Christmas time. Well, I carried that tradition on in my sales coaching because if I'm trying to reach somebody and I know they'd be a good fit based on all my research, I sent them the audiobook of Atomic Habits. Now, I did get a couple of clients out of that. Not everyone, but I did get a couple. So, I don't strive to hit 100%. I just strive to make a difference. Or you can invite them to a webinar. All right. Maybe your company is doing a webinar. Send out a personalized invitation. Okay. Let's go to tip number 5 is to create engagement opportunities. So invite them to a free consultation or to a live event. One thing that I have done in the past is I send a $5 gift card through email through Starbucks, and I invite them, 20 people to a live coffee with me over Zoom, and I give them an opportunity to ask me any question they want about sales, any question they want. And I go into answering all their questions. I've had a lot of good success for that. I'm thinking about bringing that back for 2025. You can do the same thing with your clients as well. One thing I used to do in group benefits is I would invite one business to lunch, and then I would invite another business that I thought would be a good networking opportunity for the two of them to lunch. So here I have two businesses at lunch with, and they're sharing their ideas and they're networking and they're helping each other. Now, here's another thing I love to do. Send a personalized video messaging introducing yourself. So I've done this in the past and it works. One particular client, I sent her a video message and I said, I'm just jogging your memory. We talked about a year ago and I know timing wasn't right. I'm just extending a holiday message to you. Merry Christmas. And what did I say? Now I'm stuck. What else did I say? I think I stopped it at Merry Christmas. But it was a video message that I sent through text. Make it under 30 seconds if you can. And it's fun. It's fun to do that, just to introduce yourself. If you're on LinkedIn, you should do a post introducing yourself and do a quick video. Do a vertical video on LinkedIn and introduce yourself. I'm amazed how many salespeople are not utilizing LinkedIn because it's the perfect place to showcase yourself to your potential clients. It really is. All right. Number 6, you want to identify their pain points. Now, this is hard if you have not had a chance to talk to them. All right. If you have had a chance to talk to them one time and you just never got back in front of them again or on the phone again, one of the things that you can do is ask open-ended questions to uncover the real challenges. It could be timing for them. So one of the examples is, what's the biggest hurdle your team faces with, and then a specific problem. So this is if you get them on the phone. One of the things I ask is, what's working, what isn't working? What's working for your team? and they'll tell me, well, what isn't working for your team that maybe you feel they need to improve on? And then I'll ask, what do you think your team feels like they need to improve on? Because that could be two totally different things. All right. Okay. Next, tailor your pitch around how your product or services solves their specific issues. Tailor your pitch. Do not go into what I call product puking, telling them every benefit and feature. What you want to do is take one benefit that aligns with their specific issue and talk about that one benefit. If you go down the list of all your benefits and features, their eyes will glaze over and they'll be done. So just pick out one. And then the most effective thing to use, though, even to disregard your benefits and features, instead of doing that, go right to case studies and success stories as proof points. So I have a whole library of case studies that if someone wants to see one, I have one to give to them. And I base giving the case study around, are they similar to this case study or not? So I look at the prospect and then I match them to a case study. So I want to recommend that you do that too. All right. Now, tip number 8 is, and I've been saying this throughout, follow up like a pro. Persistence is key. Follow up with genuine interest, not desperation. And this coaching client really did not, that I'm basing this whole Savvy Sales Lady Live on. He didn't follow up consistently, and he wasn't persistent because he felt like he was being a pest. Well, once I got his head on straight about that, he contacted his dead horse leads that he identified, and he ended up booking 2 appointments with 2 of those dead horses, and he resurrected them into now potential clients. So, like I told you, he had over 300 dead horses. So it's going to take him a while to get through those. But at the same time, he did everything I'm telling you all to do. And here's that PDF file that I want to give you if you will email me, and I will send it to you. And he followed, a lot of these action tips on here as well. So it is coming up at a half hour. I hope these tips help you. I don't see any comments. I'd be happy to take comments if you wanted me to answer a few of your questions. Anybody have any comments? I'll wait a couple of minutes more. But it is possible to breathe new life into cold leads. And it's more important, though, that you first identify who those leads are, who those prospects are, and then look at each one individually and decide based on your notes, based on your past follow-up or conversations, whether it would be a good time now to reach out to them. Okay? Don't treat all prospects the same. Every prospect should be treated differently. All right. Now, in closing, we will end with this. If you like the Savvy Sales Lady Live, you're really going to like the Savvy Sales Lady newsletter. It's delivered in your inbox once a week. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? The link is in the show notes below so you won't miss this upcoming newsletter. I give you one tip to focus on each week to implement immediately into your sales day. Why not sign up and learn just a little bit more? All right, everyone, stay savvy and sign up for my newsletter. Bye-bye.